I'm Lila, and I'm horizontal.
Yeah, I am Elaine, and I'm horizontal with Lila right here.
Sex positive culture.
It's my body to give.
Are threesome gifts a thing?
Taking a bath.
I like your bed.
Horizontal.
Horizontal.
This is Horizontal with Lila. Horizontal is the podcast about intimacy that's entirely recorded while lying down. I'm lying down right now. Most episodes are recorded in my bed on my Casper mattress at Hacienda Villa, the sex-positive intentional community in Bushwick, Brooklyn. The others are recorded while horizontal elsewhere.
I feel like I was a new meat walking in a filth market.
In this episode, I lie down with my housemate, Elaine. Elaine is a consummate world traveler. It's really quite something to catch her at home. But on one of her brief stays at the villa, I did. So I have caught her here like a Pokemon, and I have... In between jaunts to her home country of Taiwan and remote islands, outdoor sailing adventures and climbing mountains, running races in Europe, and engaging in other extreme sports and endurance activities, like sex, as she put it, we had the chance to don some robes and get horizontal. Elaine lives in the room across the way from me, a space so tiny that it only has a skylight and no window. She calls it a closet, but she means it affectionately because she really likes how cozy it is. Elaine holds a PhD in Biomedical Engineering and has done 10 years of stem cell research and patent prosecution for Biotech Startups. She cooks Taiwanese food that would make you wish she were your wife, and she has a deep and abiding love for turtles. So much so that she doesn't travel the world alone. Even when she's by herself, she always brings her stuffed turtle along, and the turtle's name is Dr. Turtle. I experience Elaine as unfailingly kind, possessing an incredible amount of grit, and her candid explicitness, combined with a voice that sounds like it belongs in an anime cartoon, delights me to no end. In the first half of our episode, recorded in my loft bed, we talk about how she came to live at the villa, sex camp, the differences between swingers and poly people, and Elaine's very first fetish party. Hey, come here. Come lie down with us. You went to the Women's March. Tell me about it.
Yes, I went to the Women's March yesterday in Washington, D.C. It was overwhelming, exhausting, but really amazing and great too. There's so many different people there, and everybody had their own thing to protest too. It's almost like this big protest for every kind of
Everything?
Everything.
For every kind of everything?
Yeah, it's really just everything. Like people chant different things, about immigration right, about women right, about abortions, about refugees, about racism, about everything. So it's amazing. It's beautiful because then it's a huge, diverse protest too. But everybody was protesting toward the same goal, which is equal human right, and that could be, anything possible under this big umbrella.
Was anybody protesting about sexual rights?
Sexual rights in terms of, there are lots transgender rights, yes. A lot of women rights that they also focus on having, taking ownership of their body too, which I also love. Like there are some signs that says my body to give, not yours to take. That's what I love the most too. The most intense and heartfelt moments that I experienced in the March was that probably around noon, no, around 2 p.m. ish, in the middle of the March, a pregnant woman, her water broke in the middle of March. And she was like, I'm gonna have my baby here.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And then she literally like, sat down on the sidewalk and was preparing herself to have a baby there.
Was there anybody medically qualified to help her?
She was surrounded by a group of people. I don't know if it was planned or not, but she was excited to have it happen there.
Wow, what a story. On the day of your birth, I was marching with, what is it, 3.8 million? Something like that? 3.8 million people in the Women's March?
Yeah, well, what a place to, to be born to. This kid is born
with a fist in the air.
Yeah, exactly. Born in the center of democracy. Born in this, This kid refused to stay silent. He made a grand entrance.
Do you know that it was a boy?
No, I don't.
Maybe she made a grand entrance.
She made a great entrance.
Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. Exactly, I don't know about sex.
Or could be intersex. Who knows?
Should be, yeah. It made a grand entrance.
They made a grand entrance.
Yes.
Z made a grand entrance. Here made a grand entrance. Practicing pronouns.
That's true.
Practicing our pronouns.
They made a grand entrance. Z.
They.
So.
Have you ever noticed when the train comes around the bend, when we first start to hear it, for me it sounds like the first 3 notes of a song from West Side Story. There's a place for us.
I never made that association.
Maybe it's just me.
Yeah, because you have a more romantic ear. When I hear about these car sirens or train noises, all I could think, at least the first thing that came to mind was, oh, you hear the pitch is higher when the train is approaching you and it's lower when it leaves you. That's the whatever law of frequency of sound.
Oh, that's your scientific mind.
Yes.
Elaine.
Yes?
How did you come to live at Hacienda Villa?
Oh boy. Yes, so I have learned about Hacienda from my friend Leon. He's not managing the villa anymore, but he was quite open about it on social media.
Well, he wasn't founding, right? He was the real estate agent.
Oh, he told me he was, so I guess that was what he wanted me to believe.
Ooh, dirty laundry.
Yeah, I never knew the exact detail, but from social media and from my conversation with him, that's the impression I got. So I was like, oh, that's quite cool.
How did he present it to you?
He said he and a friend Andrew started this first polyamorous house in New York. Everybody is cool, everybody is open-minded and super liberal, and everybody is, young and vibrant and people he would trust. That's how he presented to me. At that time, I was traveling all over the world with my ex-partner, David. I think it was around May 2015. David and I had the first of maybe a 25 million breakup. Yeah, long story short, we have our first massive breakup, and we were in France at the moment, and I was determined to just move back to New York and start my life again. So I needed to find a tribe, my tribe. I needed to find a group of supporting people that I wouldn't feel like unsafe to live with. And I also wish to make more friends, like-minded friends. So I just message Leon and say, hey, I remember you had that poly house that you started with Andrew before. Can I live there? Then he's like, oh, of course, sure. There's still a few openings, and you will be a great fit. Especially second and third floor, I handpick every one of them, all the members, and everyone is awesome. I think they will love you.
So to you, he described it as a poly house?
Yes. I think he probably thinks poly as a loose term because he knows I'm not exactly polyamorous.
It's really interesting because I also came here through Leon, right? So I think he had a hand in finding and offering for, as a candidate for membership, most of the founding members
Right.
of the villa.
Right.
And he's also how I came to be here.
Yeah.
I met him at, so if I trace back a few laughable fortuities, as Milan Kundera would call it, if I trace back a few, I started doing acro yoga again because one of my colleagues asked me to sub classes for her. I started getting a bit more involved, started going to some other colleagues' classes. And then there was a girl in one of those classes who wanted me to meet her partner. And so he came to one of the jams and I met him and he and I started training together.
Right.
Acrobatics, and we were training towards doing an act that would blend partner acrobatics with partner dancing. So he took me, I was already a tango dancer, but he took me and got me involved in the blues dancing community.
Oh.
And the very first place that he took me to was a house party. So it was dancing in socks and just in a studio apartment, a lot of people in a tiny little studio apartment dancing blues or fusion, really, dancing with
that sounds really fun.
It was so fun. Dancing with any of the skills of any partner dances that they had learned in order to very freely express the music through their bodies.
That sounds so much fun.
And I loved it. I got really into it for a couple of years. I danced several nights a week. And there, this woman who hosted that house party, she also hosted a lot of other events. She was a very hosty type. And one of the other events that she hosted was a game night. And it was board games. So it was word games and strategy games. And I was always interested in the word games. And so maybe the second game night that I attended, or it could have even been the first, I met Leon. And I thought, who is this dude?
Oh, wait. Hold on. I thought you meant Leon that he came to your acrobatic yoga class.
No, I'm saying I'm trying to trace it back through other chance encounters or laughable fortuities, as I called them.
Right.
So it was, I got back into acro yoga, found this acrobatics partner.
I see.
Started dancing with this acrobatics partner, blues dancing.
Right.
At the apartment of this hostess. She had another kind of event at her apartment, which was this game night, and that is where I met Leon.
I see.
And I thought he was pretty... This guy is so full of himself. Who is this guy?
Ouch.
And he was very good at Scrabble. He mopped the floor with the rest of us.
Right, he's incredibly smart.
And then he left. And I was so annoyed. And then he friend requested me, and I wasn't sure. But then I accepted his friend request, and I saw probably one of the articles that you saw
Right.
that he posted about the house. It was the Daily News article. And it seemed, I don't trust the Daily News very much as a,
Right,
as
I
a news
don't.
source. And the article seemed a little bit sensationalized.
It is.
But it sounded still, I could read almost between the lines of the article, and it sounded so compelling. The idea of the house.
Right.
But I wasn't polyamorous, and I didn't need a place to live at that time. And then my roommate said she wanted to move out from the apartment that we were living in, and suddenly I needed a place.
So you contacted Leon and asked about the place?
No. So I went to another one of Rachel's events while procrastinating on looking for an apartment because I was so dreading moving.
Right.
While procrastinating, I went to another one of her events, which was a thrift store hop. And I wrote about this in the first chapter in the book that I'm working on about living here at the villa. And I love thrift store shopping.
Me too.
But I consider it a solitary activity. I feel the same way about it that some other people feel about masturbation. I love it, and it's private.
What? What?
It's something to be done alone. I'm concerned that people might judge me for the amount of time that I want to spend. I don't want to be on anybody else's rhythm or anybody else's schedule. I thrift shop alone. And so I went, but quickly found that I didn't want to be doing my shopping in the presence of this group of people, and wound up just sitting on the bench at Beacon's Closet, and Leon came. And so Leon and I had a chat, and I said, oh, too bad. I saw that the inexpensive rooms at the villa are already rented. It sounds amazing. And he said, well, there's someone who moved in who might be moving to San Francisco, and maybe you could sublet the room from her. And I said, well, it sounds really interesting, but I'm not poly. If it's a poly house, like I can't claim to be polyamorous. And he said, it's not. It's actually a sex positive, intentional community.
Oh, interesting.
That's open.
Right.
As long as you are open to people having alternative relationship styles. And I said, yes, of course, I'm completely open to that. I've just never personally had a positive experience with any polyamorous man, because I had been involved with a couple of polyamorous men who now, much later, after witnessing a lot of people's relationships, I realized that they were not doing it very well. They were really, really not doing it very clearly and honestly, which is the only way that it really seems to work. But it's interesting that he told you.
No, well, Leon and I met in 2010 in a sex camp.
Sex camp?
Yeah.
What's that?
It's a good friend of mine, or a couple I used to date or have been great friends with for a long, long time. You probably know them. They have this amazing piece of land in Adirondack Park, which is bigger than Manhattan. And one weekend a year, they close the park and reserve it for 30 friends of theirs to go there for a weekend of sexy camping.
That's incredible.
But it's so beautiful. The water in the lake is so clean that you can literally drink from it. You go there, you embrace yourself with nature and run around naked and do whatever you want. Have sex in the water, have sex in the wood. We hike, we cook together, we have sex together. It's beautiful. And that's where I met Leon, 2010. And my first impression of Leon was incredibly kind and smart. I didn't feel he was full of himself at the time. I guess probably because all the men in that group of people are all equally handsome and tall and successful and smart. So, yeah. Yeah, and he also wasn't a host, so the host is also a tall, handsome man. He had to be kind to the host, so he couldn't be too big of a, ego there. So my first impression of Leon was really, really nice, and we connected, obviously. And then we played, and afterwards, we left the sex camp. We stayed in touch, and he and his partner at the moment were having lots of trouble because although he's very open and honestly, poly, she was not. She considered herself monogamous, and obviously it won't work for her to date a really open poly guy.
No, that sounds like a recipe for heartbreak.
Yeah, so there were a lot of arguments, melodramatic moments there, and she sometimes flipped back and forth. She wanted to try, but then she's not okay with it. Suddenly, when the time that she said she wanted to try to be poly herself, then Leon would invite me to talk to her to explain it better about how ethical non-monogamy was, that you can actually be unjealous in that kind of relationship. So I sort of act as a facilitator between them a while. I guess this is what I did quite often while I was unicorning in a community.
So does that mean you're like a poly translator?
I was just a unicorn, and what a unicorn does in dating couple is not only you have fun with a couple, you also facilitate their relationship too sometimes. Like couples, they have fights, then as a unicorn being loved by both of them, you will go and try to make them love each other again. So I did that with Leon and his ex-partner at the time.
I've never dated a couple. What's that like?
It's I don't know how to describe it, but a couple that would date a unicorn, they function as a unit. So it's like you're dating a unit that has a feminine side and a masculine side. You kind of just assume there's no secret between them. They know each other, and they know all your communication with either one of them. And for me, at the moment, I wasn't ready for any serious, committed, exclusive relationship then. So I was still trying to find out what love is and what a satisfying, successful relationship would look like. What kind of man I should be looking for. I still wasn't sure, so I was still exploring at that moment. And I love seeing couples loving each other. So for me, as a unicorn at the time, I love dating couples that really, truly love each other. And I love seeing them in love. I love seeing him loving her. I love seeing them making love. I love seeing them happy. And that kind of a love between them makes me happy. So that's also what Leon at the time described compulsion, and what people in this community always pride themselves for. Like, we have conversions, we are happy, we celebrate your partner's happiness, even if it's, while having sex or dating with other people, even while there could be a conflict of interest.
Have you always been compulsive?
Of course, there are moments that I will want certain benefits that would not be that could be at the expense of others. For example, if I'm in a relationship, sometimes if I am too lazy to do something and I just want my boyfriend to go do something for me, even though I know he really doesn't want to, yeah, there are definitely moments like that.
Wow, somebody's really having a fight outside.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, do it now.
Ah,
Bushwick.
yeah. Angry male.
Ugh.
I guess I never would do something intending to hurt other people. If I know there's certain things that could hurt the other person, it will be hard for me to do it too. I don't know. I don't know if I always capricious, but I will have hard time hurt like intentionally to hurt people.
But is feeling joy for your partner's joy, even when it isn't romantically or sexually related to you, is that a skill? Is that something that I can learn? Or is it just, let's say, a gift or a character trait that you either have or you don't have?
Oh, I don't think it's a character trait you either have or you don't have. It highly depends on the dynamic you have with your partner. Because there's definitely partners that I have in the past that I just felt completely insecure about. And there's just something about them or about the relationship that made me feel unsafe or insecure, and things are ambiguous and unclear, and I wasn't sure about my own value. I wasn't sure how he felt for me. I wasn't even sure how I felt for the relationship. And then if there is another person there that he's connecting with, then suddenly I will feel jealousy, and I will feel like, oh, this person is a threat to our relationship. And when I feel the relationship is threatened, then I can't be capricious. But definitely there are partners where I had a very, very strong and honest and very healthy relationship with, in which we both trusted each other 100%. In those relationships, somehow I just would genuinely feel happy when my partner felt happy connecting with another person. It's rare because having a really healthy, 100% honest, strong relationship is very rare.
Yeah.
But I feel that's prerequisite to have, to feel capricious towards your partner sexually connected with another person, right in front of you even. I remember me and my ex, a guy I had a really healthy relationship with, I will introduce my girlfriends to him. I will want him to, have sex with my girlfriends because he's really good in bed, and I want him to be a good boyfriend to please my friends. You want your boyfriend to be on the best behavior so all of your friends like him. So I want him to fuck my friend, and I want him to perform his best to make sure that my friends are happy in bed.
That's quite astonishing.
Yeah, and I want my friends to like him, obviously. So I will secretly hook them up. And I will even be there physically facilitating. And when he made her come, I literally will high five him. Yeah, I say, good job, I love you. And he's like, I love you too. And always after such adventures, we always got so emotionally closer. The connection between us just grew stronger and stronger with each of these adventures, I call it. But of course, the relationship had to be really healthy. And it was. That's why I really enjoyed it.
I fear that maybe I'm not compertious, or maybe I'm not capable of compersion, but I think that what's more true
Yeah.
is that I've never been in a really solid relationship.
Yeah, I think that's why. Because before this particular relationship I just described, I was never like that way. I never knew I could be that way. Before that, I was always in monogamous relationship.
Up until when? When did it shift?
Year 2009, I was engaged with a German man. He is just a very stereotypical German that is so strict and unflexible. And
I've known a few Germans.
yeah, very textbook German.
Biblically.
Yeah, PhD in applied physics. Very dry and boring sex. Believes that women should act certain way and men should act certain way. That kind of guy.
What did you love him for?
He was also incredibly charming and smart. He's really, really smart in what he does, and he's handsome, and he's like has everything that I thought I would want on the paper. And obviously, all my friends, including my very traditional Asian parents, would say, "Oh, this is guy for you. He will make perfect husband."
Your Asian parents approved of your German boyfriend?
Yes, that's how good he was.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
He's just a very, very textbook good husband material.
So then what happened?
But of course, what I couldn't tell my parents is that in the entire 5 years I was with him, I never orgasmed every single time.
Oh no.
I have not experienced a single orgasm with him.
You weren't masturbating either?
I was masturbating, but I wouldn't tell him because he wouldn't want me to.
Oh no.
So we got engaged, but soon afterwards I got cold feet. I just somehow felt that I didn't want to settle. I thought at the time I just didn't know what love was. I told him I didn't love him anymore. And so that's when I started to step into the community and have all kinds of new experiences, exploring love structure, relationship structures, seeing how other people interact with their partners. Was just genuinely curious about how other people love each other.
But how did you learn about the sex positive community if you were coming from this monogamous
Right.
world?
A friend of mine introduced this beautiful couple to me, year 2009, with whom she met in a normal cocktail party. So it's just, I guess if you go out party enough, then you meet a few people. And my friend knew I didn't want anything serious at the moment. I just want to experience new things. So she introduced them to me. And we started to date. And that's how I found myself in this community. They introduced me to this community.
How did your friend know that you would be interested in dating a couple?
My friend didn't know they would want to date me. And my friend also didn't know I would want to date them.
Why did she introduce you?
I told her that I just got a relationship. I need to have fun. I want to go out a lot. I want to meet handsome men. And I don't want anything serious. And she said, "Oh, I met this guy in this cocktail party, French Tuesday. He seems to know all the party in New York and he's handsome. So I think you should hang out with him." That's how we met. Yeah. First date, he took me to the box
Oh my God.
with 2 other dates of his.
You took 3 women on a date to the box at the same time.
Yes.
And the box is this really sexy performance art space, right?
Right. It was I thought it was awesome. And the other two women were upset that he brought me, obviously.
Wait, was he supposed to be on a date with just the two of them?
Yep.
They were fine with each other, but they were not fine with you?
Well, he was supposed to be on a date with one of the girl, and the girl then brought her girlfriend together for some odd reason.
Her girlfriend, as in her partner?
No, as a friend.
Just another friend.
Yeah. And then he brought me. I was totally fine with it because I was just experiencing new things. I totally didn't want anything serious. I thought it was cool and fun. I never experienced anything like that. I was like, how can you date? Schedule dates on the same night. Oh my God. Is this how New Yorkers do it? Is this how everybody else is doing it? Oh my God, I've been missing out. And oh my God, the box was amazing. Oh my God, you can actually do this kinds of thing in front of other people. And it was just a mind exploring introduction.
What did you see at the box that night?
One thing that I remember the most was that a girl dressed like a vagina. And then she has this long thing, like, then she was having sex with something. And then she spilled lots of things from inside of vagina.
What do you mean she was having sex with something?
Like, she has another prop that she was fucking herself with, aka vagina, right? She is the vagina. And then she probably take like an umbrella or something, stick it into her costume.
Okay.
Yeah. And then...
Was it going in any orifice?
No.
No, okay, just in her costume because the whole thing was the vagina.
No. Yes, exactly.
Okay.
And then in the end, then she spilled like lots of things, fabric stuff from the costume vagina, which I didn't know it was squirting. It was meant to be squirting. I was like, what is it? What is it?
Well, did you have any knowledge of squirting by
No,
then? I didn't
zero.
hear of squirting until I moved into this house.
Exactly.
No, that's not true. That's not true. I just lied to you. I didn't mean to. Actually, I have a friend who went to Smith College.
Right.
Which has a lot of ladies and then a really high lesbian population.
Oh.
And
of course.
I went to visit her at Smith College because we have known each other since we were 12.
Yeah.
And we used to be pen pals. And then every summer we would visit back and forth. And this time I happened to go and visit her at Smith College. And she said, hey, do you want to go see a film about female ejaculation? I was like, female ejaculation?
I know. It's, yeah.
That's a thing?
I know. I thought it was fake.
We watched this really poorly produced video of, it was a lot of women in the same room who could ejaculate, and I just, chin on the floor, just mouth agape, like,
yeah.
What?
I know.
How can be?
Yeah. So, yeah, I didn't know what it was. I mean, granted, I was not having any orgasm for 5 years at the time.
Not even with yourself?
No, I guess never had orgasm with a man,
Okay.
I guess. And also at the time, I have only slept with less than 10 people. I was always vanilla. Not vagina. So, seeing on stage a giant vagina, demonstrating squirting, I was shocked and confused.
But you said you were into it.
Yes, and I thought I was turned on by it. I thought it was exciting, it was fun, and I wanted to know more. So Sam then and I only kissed. We didn't have sex, but he felt connected to me, and I felt connected to him. So then we had a second date, which was then with Elaine. They took me to a fetish party. That's our second date. So they told me,
Moving fast.
Yeah, I know. So they were like, we're going to a fetish party this weekend. I was like, oh, okay, fetish party. What is it? What's the dress code? Then he's like, fetish party. Just wear something that you feel sexy in.
Oh, boy.
I was like, oh, okay. Sexy. So I showed up in a pink chiffon floral dress.
Oh,
with
amazing.
a pink flower on my hair. And completely out of place, and pink underwear with a bow on top. I feel sexy.
Amazing.
I sure I'm in a place where everyone was in latex, obviously.
Black latex.
Yes, and I was like, obviously, everyone looked at me and said, "Are you first timer?"
Oh.
And
Have you read? There must be really stuff going down in the neighborhood tonight. That is the 5th or 6th siren since we've been talking.
oh yeah,
Wow, okay. Well, I'm glad we're not out there in the wilds of Bushwick this evening.
I hope it's not a fire.
It sounds like... Oh.
No.
Okay.
Deep breath.
Have you ever read Elizabeth Gilbert's Big Magic?
I read a few of her books, but not Big Magic.
In Big Magic, which is all about creativity, she tells this story about a guy who gets invited to a costume party.
Right.
And he's excited, and he does what he can, and it's, I think, a last-minute situation. And he pulls together this costume. And then he shows up, and everyone, and there are aristocrats at this party, and very wealthy people, and they are dressed as kind of the court of Queen Elizabeth in courtly garb, and he is a lobster.
Wow.
And so, he's very uncomfortable. It's, of course, he's like the cheese stands alone, and he walks in, and people are looking at him, and
Yeah.
and then someone says, "And who are you?" And he says, with a great flourish and a great bow, "I am the court lobster." And everybody cracks up, and then he gets to dance with a princess. Anyway, when you walk into the fetish party wearing floor-length floral pink chiffon, I was thinking, I am the court lobster.
I have huge appetite.
The second half of this episode has been released separately by popular demand. Horizontal's theme music was created by my rock star friend Alan Markley on Instagram as Plastic Cannons. Its very saucy cover art was designed and illustrated by Shauna Shea. Hire this woman through 99designs.com. Every episode is mixed and mastered by Owen Muir of Self-Disclosure Productions, Owen's own podcast, Self-Disclosure, where people speak openly and often for the first time about their experiences with mental health, will launch in August of 2017. To sign up for the Horizontal show notes, exclusive subscriber content, and sensual horizontal photos, head to horizontalwithlila.com. One of the main reasons why I need to read.
Ask for reviews.
Okay, thanks, Owen. If you've enjoyed getting horizontal with me, won't you please write a 5-star review? It really helps, and every review that comes through receives a happy dance.
I have a question. Aren't you afraid that you're gonna roll over your bed and die in the middle of the night?
Well, I've never rolled over my bed and died in the middle of the night yet.
Thank God